looks at the effects parents have on students' health. It is up to the parents to make sure students are healthy. We will be informing you on the effect parents have on students' sleep and how this influences their health, as well as the dietary needs for children and how a parent can change the habits of the child. It is important to look further into the physical activity needed for students and how parents can affect the amount of exercise their child will receive due to many factors such as socioeconomic status. We will present a rebuttal discussing with you how it is hard for parents to influence students based on other responsibilities. It is also hard to influence students' health when they are at school for the majority of the year, showing that teachers should have just as much of an impact on the students as a parent would. The media also has a large influence on a student's health, in a positive and a negative way. As a parent, you have a duty to protect your child from harm, provide your child with food, clothing and a place to live, financially support your child, provide safety, supervision and control.
Our first
provide
argument
medical
is the
care,
effects parents have on students' sleep and how this influences their health, as well as the dietary needs for children and how a parent influences their child's eating habits. It is the responsibility of a parent for when their child goes to sleep. A child at primary school level does not have the understanding of repercussions if they don't get enough sleep. Sleep loss causes a range of schooling problems, including naughtiness and poor concentration. Sleep deprivation can lead to fatigue, learning and concentration difficulties, and accidents. Children who do not get enough sleep may display symptoms including moodiness, tantrums, and hyperactive behaviour in the classroom. Parents are the main influence of when their child will go to sleep, and it is up to them to decide the most appropriate time for their child to go to bed. They need to make appropriate decisions to ensure their child or children are benefiting from the optimal amount of sleep a night. Some general guidelines that parents should be aware of in regarding the amount of hours primary school age children are required to have a night are: children aged between 5 and 6 years old should be averaging 10 to 12 hours a night, and children between the ages of 7 to 12 should be averaging about 10 to 11 hours a night. Parents must take these guidelines into consideration when implementing their child's sleeping routine. Primary age students' diets and eating habits are influenced mostly by their parents and guardians. Children's dietary needs are reflected by parents' choice, as well as the socio-economic status that their parents hold. It is the parents' decision on what food is placed in their child's lunchbox for school and what food is supplied in the fridge and pantry at home. A parent can positively influence a child's diet by doing the following: being a positive role model when eating around their children, providing a variety of nutrient-dense foods, scheduling meal times and eating as a family, sitting down at a table and eating and discussing healthy food options. Allow children to self-regulate when they want to eat. Don't use food as a reward system. Encourage but don't press for children to eat fruits and vegetables, as it can have a negative effect and children will not eat fruit and vegetables. Offer large proportions of fruit and vegetables. Give students fruit and vegetables on a regular occasion in their lunchbox, for dinner, snacks, so they're used to eating fruits and vegetables at home and at school. And make fruit and vegetables appealing for children. By following those simple guidelines, parents are able to influence their child's eating habits within a healthy way. A major influence of the types of food that students consume at school and home is the socio-economic status of their parents. Children aged between 5 and 14 living in a low socio-economic area were 1.7 times more likely to be overweight or obese than those living in high socio-economic areas. A major reason for this could be the fact that healthier foods are more expensive than those processed or packaged in supermarkets, which those foods are more accessible for those of low socio-economic status. Not only does socioeconomic status influence the food that children consume, but it also affects their physical activity and the activities that they are able to participate within. Those activities could include those in schools, but also extracurricular activities. In 2008 to 2009, 63% of children aged between 5 and 14 had participated in organised sport or dancing at least once. A child's likelihood of participating in organised sport or dance may be related to many characteristics such as sex, age, parents' country of birth, and the parent's socioeconomic status. Children that live in high socioeconomic areas were 8% more likely to participate in organised sport or dancing compared to those in middle socioeconomic areas. Children living in low socioeconomic areas were 9% less likely to participate in extracurricular activities than those in middle socioeconomic areas. If both parents are employed, children are 18% more likely to participate in extracurricular activities, as they are extremely expensive and require time dedicated to them. If no parents are employed within a family, their children are 13% less likely to participate in extracurricular activities. And if parents are unemployed and a single parent, their children are 20% less likely to participate in extracurricular activities. Not only does a parent's socioeconomic status influence their child's physical activity, but also the amount of support they provide for their child and their own participation in physical activity. Parents influence the physical activity their child does through the amount of support that is given and promotion on sport or dance. For example, if a parent provides suggestions of a sport or activity that their child can do, it is more likely that their child will participate in that activity or sport. Research suggests that there is a link between parental physical activity encouragement, involvement, and support of their child's physical activity. Children between the ages of 4 and 7 were 6 times more likely to be active when one or both parents were active compared to those who are inactive. Parents are the major influence of their child's sleeping patterns and routine, the food that they consume at school and at home, and the levels and participation that students have in physical activity
It is
within
often
school
very hard
and
for parents to
out.
influence children all of the time, and it is a lot of pressure on a parent when other issues may be occurring at home or in the outside environment. A work schedule is a large influence on the amount of time a parent has with their child and how much time is therefore given to that child to do extracurricular activities or spend quality time with their parents. The working schedule will affect sleeping schedules and eating schedules for a child, as it is sometimes not possible for a child to go to sleep early or for their parents to have the time to prepare healthy foods. Our rebuttal to this point is that there is a responsibility to provide a healthy and supportive environment to your child, meaning making time for your child or preparing pre-lunches and snacks that are healthy for your child. Parents still have weekends that can engage in physical activity, and extracurricular activities can be organised through other families during the school week. It is also hard to influence students' health when they are at school for the majority of the year, showing that teachers could have just as much of an impact on the students as a parent would. It is estimated that a child is at school 7 hours a day, 5 days a week, for roughly 200 days. This is a lot of time not spent with a parent where a teacher has the main influence on a child. A teacher can also impact how much physical activity is done through the activities completed in class. A teacher can still influence a child on what to eat by suggesting foods that can be discussed at home. A teacher can't directly influence sleeping patterns, but they can suggest how many hours sleep is needed for a good day. In rebuttal to this, teachers don't have that personal one-on-one connection with every child, and time often doesn't permit for a teacher to constantly check a child's home activities. They cannot keep track of every child's health within the classroom. There is only so much a teacher can do in a classroom, but they cannot physically make changes at home. The media also has a large influence on a student's health in both a positive and negative way. The media is always in the eyes of a child, whether it is TVs, billboard posters, etc. Exposure to media may affect health behaviours such as substance abuse, sexual activity, and eating habits. It influences self-perception and comparisons. The use of media can also be positive, providing you with healthy tips for examples of recipes and physical activity games for children. In argument to this, parents can control how much media is exposed to their child by implementing boundaries and guidelines. Parents can also discuss with children how the media can influence them and what they should or should not believe in. The media is not always the best source for children because the internet in particular is not regulated.
To conclude this debate, it is up to parents to ensure their child is healthy in terms of eating well, sleeping well, and exercise habits. Although there are other factors that can influence a child in their life, like teachers and media, parents should be the main influence. It is sometimes hard for a parent to make time for their child and always eat healthy, but as long as there are good healthy habits and health promotions in place at home, this will still benefit a child.